Okay, with our our remaining time, I want to kind of take us through what happened last year, because some of you, different people come in at different times throughout the course of the year, and so I'm going to just do this pretty quickly. By the way, this Venture Call logo is a new logo that some students from McMurray put together, and so I've started just recently using that. So, okay, and this logo in the middle, the Abilene Startup Community, that is one of the logos that they came up with, and so I'm sort of in the process of replacing my old original logo. The event breakout, kind of last year, this is kind of a summary page, so to speak. I sort of market, the Abilene Startup Community is this event, the lunch events that we have every week. And so as you can tell, they're pretty casual. What we do have, well, like last year, we had about 36 weekly lunches, and I don't keep count of how many people show up, but probably about an average, about 10 people a week show up. We had 12 Second Monday events. That's what this is at Potter's Pizza. And we probably have about this many, about 18 or 20 people show up for that usually. We also support the Million Cups at McMurray and the ACU Springboard. Then I have 2 annual events. One's called the Enterprise Exchange, and this past year we did one called On the Road of Recovery to Prosperity, and that's where members from the recovery community came in. Recovery community being people that have survived addictions and that kind of thing, and they came in, and we had some speakers that you'll recognize here in a minute. And then the business clinic we have in November, and there we had what I called 4 key connections. And we had a lawyer, CPA, banker, and insurance agent, and they spoke to us, and it was referred to by Ron a few minutes ago. So in January, we started with Katie Howe-Trevino. So you saw her live, so I'm probably not going to play the little clip that I have here. But Katie started off last year for us at this exact event on the second Monday. I'm going to skip. Then Dr. Bill Havens. Dr. Bill is he's an inventor. But he's a psychologist, okay? And he's worked with people with brain damage and all that kind of stuff. And he's invented this new, somebody help me, Chris. Remember Bill? He had, like on his motorcycle, he built a different way for people to process all the, like your oil pressure and all that kind of stuff. And it's based on how your mind works rather than the way the automotive community puts it on there. So he's in the process of inventing that. So really cool guy. So here's a couple of cool dudes. Dr. Paul Mason back there and myself, and we had a little debate about redefining work. And what we talked about was, does your worldview make a difference in the workplace? And I'll have to say, to Paul and my credit, that was the lowest attended event we had last year. So anyway, but we had a good time talking about different approaches to work and that kind of thing. So in April, we did not hold an event here, but we supported Dr. Paul's, they have what they call the 2019 Garrison Entrepreneur Lectureship that was at McMurray. And so we just supported that, and a bunch of our people, I think we got a table or a couple tables or something like that, and supported that event. Jeff Hoffman, tell us just a bit about Jeff Hoffman, Paul.
Jeff Hoffman was one of the first people involved in Rights Line. And he also holds the patent for the machines in the airport to spit out boarding passes.
Mm-hmm.
And he told the story about how he was so frustrated standing in line waiting for one person, this long line, and one person to hand out the boarding passes that he felt the machine. Now, he's pretty much focusing on a shift along student entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs world, and they develop products for small businesses and for people who have problems to solve. And what he focused on was find a problem and then find a solution. Like people in the rural areas of God put up their huts during the day to collect solar power and use it for light at night. And literally, the kids who had never known their fathers, because the fathers were always out in the fields from dawn to dusk, now had light at night, so he was a very down-to-earth guy, and gave terrific lectures. His lunch lecture ran over 40 minutes, and the only people who left were students who had to go to that. He was really dynamic. Since Mike gave me an opening, our next Harrison lecture is going to be by Dave Hopkins on April the 20th, and she is the creator of the USA Network, Cartoon Network, the Sci-Fi Network back in the 70s, and has innovated in a number of other areas since. She'll be speaking in the same format as we've used before, an open lecture to anybody who wants to come, probably 10 o'clock in the morning, and then after the auditorium and luncheon, Duncan will once again develop a menu for, and I will get to dessert. And that will cost like $25, and then there'll be an afternoon session for students, question and answer, where they can talk one-on-one. I saw one of my students out at the Angela this morning, who's a graduating senior, and he was still waiting on Hoffman to let him know if he's going to be on the boat next year.
Oh, wow. Cool. Well, another benefit of me having your contact information is when those kind of things come up that are directly applied to entrepreneurship or small business, I'll shoot out a quick memo to you to say, hey, this is what's coming up. So on the next one, I want you to pay attention to the excellent camera work. That's when I was really getting into it. And
but if you are in Abilene for any length of time, you know that the military...
Nothing like a steady hand.
...is pretty significant. Well, what happens with the military population, and Adam and I are veterans ourselves, as are most every single person on our staff. So this program is particularly meaningful to us. Of course, it wasn't around when I retired, so a little jealous. But the program is excellent. And of course, the intent for Skill Bridge, as the name implies, is a way to bridge the gap between what military members have been exposed to during the time of their service and what they want to do, what they see in the future for life after the Air Force.
So that's the essence. Jackie and Adam are in the education department out at Dyess, and I asked them to come and to be able to kind of explain this program because there are some businesses that might be interested in hiring some of their people that are getting ready to retire. And so this program helps do that. In fact, the program pays for their salary for a period of time if they're still active duty. So anyway, I was glad that Dyess could support us by coming out and telling us about that. This gentleman,
so at the beginning,
David Cranfield knows him.
At the end of last year, I had realized that the battle of trying to find employees and training them, and you know, the hard part is always, and I'm sure, I don't know what a lot of you guys, as small as are, but the hard part is basically, as a small business owner, we spend thousands of dollars, possibly training technicians and employees. And how do you maximize that? How do you keep those guys from saying, hey, appreciate it, see you later, I'm going to go work with this guy? Well,
So you can see as he's talking about the startup of his business and some of the challenges that he runs into as a small business person, probably a lot of people here can connect with the issue of employee issues, so. This gentleman, Brian Massey, I didn't get my audio on here right, but Brian spoke last summer about Houses for Healing. Does everybody know what Houses for Healing is here in town? Yeah, it's a phenomenal thing. It's really a nonprofit, but Brian had a vision to take tiny houses and equip them and get sponsorships from churches and other nonprofits and so forth to help people coming in to Abilene from the big country who had maybe terminally ill or really long-term sick kids or family members that were like at Hendrick Hospital, and they can stay at these tiny houses for free, okay? And it's located up north of Hardin Simmons up in there, and they're just growing massively. It's a powerful work. So Brian spoke last summer here. And then we come to August, and remember me talking about the Enterprise Exchange. So right before school starts again, we have the Enterprise Exchange, which is the connection between nonprofit community and the for-profit community, and trying to facilitate dialogue. And here's a picture of some of the people. This panel discussion was based on people who intentionally hire people in the recovery community, people who've had addiction problems and that kind of stuff. And so, they were a panel discussion. And then the guest speakers we had, Chris disappeared. I guess he didn't want to see his picture. But Greg's still sitting back there. And so Chris and Rick are guys that have come through, and they'll tell you with their testimony, come through the whole addiction thing. And they're both have their own businesses and doing well with their businesses. And their message is, if I can do it with all my hang-ups, so can somebody else, that kind of thing. A powerful message. And Greg and Joyce, they own Nieces. I'm glad to have Joyce with us today. They own Nieces. It's a barber and cosmetology college. And so a lot of times people in prison, that's what they gravitate to. Am I right on that? To doing hair and that kind of stuff. And so they've had plenty of people where they've also accepted into their college to get formal education so that they can stand on their own in the public marketplace by being barbers or cosmetologists. Okay. Let's see. Oh, what time is it, sweetie? Does anybody know what time it is? It's what? Okay, well, I'm not going to play that. I just want you to show up on time. And you did today. Good job. This, very quickly, September, Jason Spatero, he's a cybersecurity guy from the Dyess Air Force Base. And he came and spoke to us on information security for small businesses. And then Landon Harden, fascinating story. He is from Abilene, and he ended up starting a high-tech company in Silicon Valley. So it's quite a different story than most of ours around here, except maybe Paul back there. But starting a business in Silicon Valley and so kind of high-level stuff. But he's a down-to-earth guy. He lives here in Abilene now, again. So, yeah, he works out at, the way I met him, my mom's at Lindale Memory Care, which is an Alzheimer's unit, and he's out there working for them as well.
He also wrote books that are on Amazon for internet selling.
Yeah, for internet marketing and that kind of stuff. He's probably got 3 or 4 books in Amazon on that. And then in November, we had the business clinic, and here's a photo. And of course, Gary's back there. He's one of our guest speakers. Gala, and we met at, wasn't Cracker Barrel, Ron, it was the Golden Corral. Yeah, that's where we met. And so these folks were our guest speakers of their professions to kind of give information to us. I think it was Randy's first time to come and hang out with us. And so to talk about the importance of the services that professionals provide. And to wrap up the year, a familiar figure, Mr. Ron Davis, from Distinction. He's dancing, if you know, but we're not going to play any of that. But Ron handled the whole thing. He and his wife handled the whole thing for us last December for our last meeting. And in case you want to see the full-length videos on those, I just played a few seconds of some of them. You can go to YouTube, and if you just type in ASC Second Monday presentations, that will take you straight to my my page that has the playlist for that. Otherwise, you can go to Mikeworth on YouTube and figure the way through to see these things. So that's it for this presentation, and I just wanted to kind of update you as to what we did last year and all the folks that spoke and supported that last year. Several that are sitting right here. I want to thank you guys and gals for doing that. It's really a privilege to have you guys come and invest in our little entrepreneur community. And when Katie was talking about community, I know what she's talking about because I didn't set out to start a community, but this has been going on for 5 years now, just organically. And like she said, for me, as I look at it, it just sort of, I don't know, it sort of happens, you know, and I didn't structure it to be such. But anyway, I look forward every Monday to seeing you guys. And any parting comments before we go, close out?